Imagine this. You've finally saved up some money and you're ready to invest. You sit down at your computer, open Google, type, "How to invest money," and suddenly you're bombarded with names like Robinhood, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, and dozens more. It feels overwhelming, right? Which one do you choose? Which is safe? And how do these accounts even work? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand what an online brokerage account is, but you'll also feel confident about how to actually open one and start investing. Stick around, because I'm going to reveal a little known feature most beginners overlook that could save you a lot of money in the long run. Number 1. What is an online brokerage account? Think of an online brokerage account as your personal doorway into the world of investing. Without it, you can't buy or sell stocks, bonds, exchange-traded funds, or mutual funds. A brokerage is basically the middleman that connects you to the stock market. Here's a simple example. Imagine you want to buy a share of Apple. You can't just walk into Apple's headquarters and hand them cash for a stock certificate. Instead, you open an account with an online broker like Fidelity, deposit your money, and through their platform, you click Buy. The broker executes that trade on your behalf. So in short, the brokerage account is the tool that allows you to invest. It's like a bank account, but instead of just holding money, it gives you access to financial markets. Number 2. Why do you need one? Without an online brokerage account, you're limited. You might have a savings account at your bank, which is safe but only grows by a tiny interest rate. If inflation is around 3%, but your savings account only pays 0.5%, your money is actually losing value over time. A brokerage account changes that. It allows you to invest in assets that have historically grown much faster than inflation, like the stock market. For example, over the last century, the USA stock market has returned an average of about 10% per year. That's way more powerful than parking money in a savings account. Number 3. Different types of brokerage accounts. Here's where beginners often get stuck, because there are multiple types. First, a standard taxable brokerage account. This is the most flexible. You can put in as much money as you want, invest however you like, and take it out whenever you want. The catch? You pay taxes on the profits you make. Second, retirement-focused accounts like IRAs. An IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. This type of brokerage account gives you tax benefits if you're saving for retirement. For example, a Roth IRA lets your money grow tax-free. That means if you invest $6,000 a year and it grows into $1 million by the time you retire, you don't pay taxes on those withdrawals. Pretty amazing, right? Third, employer-sponsored accounts like 401(k)s are also run through brokers, but those are usually tied to your workplace. So here's the takeaway. Your first step is to decide what your goal is. If you want maximum flexibility, go with a standard account. If your main goal is retirement, strongly consider a Roth IRA. Number 4. How do you choose a broker? This is the big question that intimidates most beginners. Let's simplify. Look at 3 main things. First, fees. Many brokers now offer zero commission trades, meaning you don't pay a fee each time you buy or sell a stock. But watch out for hidden fees, like account maintenance fees or transfer fees. Second, platform features. Are you a beginner who just wants a simple app? Robinhood might feel easy. Do you want research tools and in-depth charts? Fidelity or Schwab might suit you better. Third, customer service. This may sound boring, but when your money is on the line, good customer service matters. Example, imagine it's 2020 and the market is crashing. You're panicked and want to call your broker for help. If your platform only offers email support, you might feel helpless. On the other hand, a broker with 24-hour phone support could give you peace of mind. Number 5. How to actually open one. This is the step that feels complicated, but it's surprisingly easy. Step 1. Pick a broker. Let's say you choose Fidelity. Step 2. Go to their website and click Open an account. Step 3. Fill out your personal info. They'll ask for your name, social security number, and address. Think of it like opening a bank account. Step 4. Fund your account. You connect it to your bank and transfer money. Step 5. Start investing. Once your money is in, you can start buying stocks, ETFs, or mutual funds. In most cases, this whole process takes less than 20 minutes. Number 6. What can you actually buy? Here's where it gets fun. Inside your brokerage account, you can access many different types of investments. Stocks are tiny pieces of a company. If you buy one share of Disney, you literally own part of Disney. ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, are baskets of stocks. For example, the S&P 500 ETF includes 500 of the biggest USA companies. Instead of trying to pick winners, you buy one ETF and instantly own a piece of all 500 companies. Bonds are like loans. When you buy a government bond, you're basically lending money to the government, and they pay you back with interest. Mutual funds are like ETFs, but they're often actively managed. They can sometimes have higher fees. Here's a simple example. If you have $1,000 and you put it all into one stock, say Tesla, your money goes up and down with Tesla. But if you put that same $1,000 into an S&P 500 ETF, your money is spread across companies like Apple, Amazon, Coca-Cola, and hundreds more. That reduces your risk. Number 7. How much money do you need to start? Here's the good news. The answer is not much. In the past, brokers required minimums of $1,000 or more. Today, many online brokers let you start with just $1. Some even offer fractional shares. That means if Amazon stock costs $3,000, but you only have $30, you can still buy a small piece of it. This makes investing accessible to almost everyone. So don't wait until you have thousands saved up. Start small, learn, and grow from there. Number 8. What about taxes? This is where beginners often get confused. If you invest in a standard brokerage account and you sell something for a profit, that's called a capital gain. You'll owe taxes on that gain. Example, you buy stock for $100 and later sell it for $150. That $50 is profit, and it's taxable. But here's the key detail. If you hold your investments for longer than 1 year, you qualify for long-term capital gains tax rates, which are lower than short-term rates. This encourages investors to hold rather than trade constantly. If you use a Roth IRA, on the other hand, your money grows tax-free. That's why so many experts recommend opening one if you're eligible. Number 9. Common mistakes beginners make. Mistake number 1. Jumping in without a plan. Don't just randomly buy stocks because you saw someone talking about it on social media. Mistake number 2. Panicking when the market drops. The stock market goes up and down. It's normal. For example, in 2008, the market crashed nearly 40%. But long-term investors who stayed and saw their money grow back, and then some. Mistake number 3. Ignoring fees. Even small fees can eat away at your money over decades. Imagine you invest $10,000 and pay a 1% annual fee. That may sound tiny, but over 30 years, you could lose tens of thousands to fees alone. Number 10. A secret feature you should know about. Here's that little-known feature I promised at the start. Some brokers offer automatic dividend reinvestment. That means when your investments pay dividends, instead of just sitting as cash, those dividends are automatically used to buy more shares. Why is this powerful? Because it accelerates compound growth. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. For example, let's say you own shares in Coca-Cola and they pay you dividends every quarter. With dividend reinvestment, those small payments automatically buy you more shares of Coca-Cola, which then earn you even more dividends. Over time, this snowballs into serious wealth. Many beginners overlook this setting when opening their accounts. So if you want your money to work harder for you, turn it on. Number 11. How safe is your money in a brokerage account? A big concern for beginners is, what if the broker goes bankrupt? Do I lose all my money? Here's the good news. In the USA, most legitimate brokers are members of SIPC, which stands for Securities Investor Protection Corporation. SIPC protects up to $500,000 of your securities in cash in case the brokerage firm fails. Important note, SIPC does not protect you if your investments go down in value. It only protects you if the brokerage itself goes under. Example, if you buy Tesla stock and Tesla drops 20%, that's on you. But if your broker shuts down unexpectedly, SIPC steps in to make sure your account is safe up to those limits. Number 12. Can you lose money in a brokerage account? The short answer is yes, because investing always carries risk. If you buy a stock and its price drops, your account value goes down. That's normal. But you can control your level of risk by diversifying. Example: instead of putting all $1,000 into one company, you might spread it across an S&P 500 ETF, a bond fund, and maybe some real estate ETFs. That way, if one part of the market falls, the others help balance it out. The key lesson: a brokerage account is just the tool. How safe or risky it is depends on what you put inside it. Number 13. Can you withdraw your money anytime? Yes, brokerage accounts give you flexibility, but there are details to know. In a standard brokerage account, you can sell your investments and transfer the money back to your bank. This usually takes 2 to 3 business days. In retirement accounts like IRAs, you can also withdraw, but there are penalties if you take money out before age 59 and a half in most cases. Example: if you have a Roth IRA and withdraw your contributions, you can do that tax-free. But if you withdraw your earnings too early, you may face taxes and penalties. So the type of account matters when it comes to withdrawals. Number 14. Margin accounts versus cash accounts. When you open a brokerage account, you'll often be asked, do you want a margin account or a cash account? A cash account is simple. You can only invest the money you actually deposit. A margin account lets you borrow money from the broker to buy more investments. This can amplify gains, but also losses. Example: if you have $1,000 and borrow another $1,000 on margin, you now invest $2,000. If your investment doubles, you make $2,000 instead of $1,000. But if it crashes, you could lose more than you put in. For beginners, sticking with a cash account is usually the safest choice. Number 15. Mobile apps versus desktop platforms. Brokers often have both. Mobile apps are designed to be simple and convenient. You can check your balance, buy, or sell with just a few taps. Desktop platforms often come with advanced tools. You can run detailed charts, screen for stocks, and use professional-level research. Example: a beginner might love the simplicity of the Robinhood app, but a more experienced investor might prefer Fidelity's desktop platform with its research reports and screeners. It all comes down to what you need at your stage of investing. Number 16. Paper trading and practice accounts. Did you know some brokers let you practice before using real money? This is called paper trading. It's like a simulator, where you can buy and sell investments without risking actual cash. Example: TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform offers paper trading. You can test strategies, learn how orders work, and see how you would perform in real market conditions. For beginners, this is a great way to build confidence before putting real money on the line. Number 17. Order types you'll encounter. When you place your first trade, you'll see terms like market order or limit order. A market order means you're buying or selling immediately at the current price. A limit order means you set the price you're willing to buy or sell at. The order only goes through if the market hits that price. Example: if Apple is trading at $150, you can place a market order and buy instantly at around $150. Or you could place a limit order saying, buy if it drops to $145. If it never drops, the trade doesn't happen. Understanding these order types gives you more control over your investing. Number 18. Account bonuses and promotions. Many brokers offer sign-up bonuses to attract new customers. Example: a broker might say, deposit $1,000 and get $100 worth of free stock. Others may give you a free share of a company just for opening an account. While bonuses shouldn't be your main reason to choose a broker, they can be a nice perk when you're starting out. And there you have it. We've covered what an online brokerage account is, why you need one, how to choose a broker, how to open an account, what you can buy, how much you need to start, taxes, mistakes to avoid, and even a powerful feature that could make your money grow faster without extra effort. The truth is, getting started is easier than most people think. The hardest part is just taking that first step. Now let me ask you, if you were to open a brokerage account today, would you go with a simple app for convenience, or a bigger platform with more research tools? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.